Okay. Yesterday we were talking about social conformity, right? Remember that how people will do something that they wouldn't expect themselves to do naturally because the crowd is doing it, right? Today we're going to learn something along the same lines, but it's called learned helplessness. That's why I wrote it down. Okay, it's called learned helplessness. What is learned helplessness? What is learned helplessness is when you can be taught by force in a very short period of time to give up on society and not even try anymore. Where you're taught to be helpless, to accept your predicament, and you do nothing about it. And it can be taught in a very short period of time. You remember beginning of last year, and I think we did this twice, where we did our vision boards. And I told you when we're doing our vision boards, there's also a thing about setting goals, right? And when you set goals, you can, through your goals, if the goals are set well, you can teach yourself to learn how to succeed. Because every time you succeed by reaching your goals, then you get excited, you get happy, proud of yourself. You can set a new goal, and then you try to achieve that one. Remember that? And through that, you can actually learn how to succeed. Through meeting your goals, you'll learn how to succeed. And then you can continue to succeed. But we also learned back then too, is when you set your goals too high and you can't achieve them, what do you learn? You'll learn that you'll never reach the goal. So then you set another goal and you don't reach that one. You set another goal, you don't reach that one. So eventually, if you never reach your goals, you can also learn how to fail. So you can learn success or failure based on if you are setting your goals well and achieving them, or if you're setting your goals not well, you're setting them maybe too high, or you're not even trying. And then by not trying, you fail over and over and over. Eventually, you will learn how to fail all the time. Remember that? Okay. So today it's called learned helplessness, and it's where you can actually be taught to always fail. Let's see, what did I write down here? Okay. I don't know why I wrote that. Okay, let me show you how this experiment's going to work in the thing. Okay, I want to show you how the experiment works. There's a teacher. We're going to watch a video. In the video, there's a teacher who is going to teach her class. Well, she's not saying anything beforehand. I'm going to tell you the premise beforehand so you know what's going on. But she's doing something with the class. They're not going to know it's an experiment until after it's all over. What she's doing is she's giving half the class a set of words, and the other half of the class she's giving them a different set of words. I'm going to show you what the words are. Here's the goal in the thing. She gives the word. Okay. She gives that word, and then she tells the students, your job is simple. I want you to take that word and rearrange the letters and make a different word. So seeing that word, go ahead, try it. Rearrange letters and make a different word. Yeah, tab. Okay? Let's try this one.
Melon.
Melon, right? Okay. And the next word, it's a little bit harder. Cinnamon.
Well, that's great, isn't it?
Not that hard. Look at it, Ange. You gotta try it. Try it. Do the word in reverse. You want to write it on a piece of paper? Here, look it on a piece of paper.
American?
There you go, American. Very good. American. Okay. Right? You do it in reverse, American. Little change over here. Okay? So she gives half the class these words, right? The other half of the class, she gives these words. Come up with a word for that one. What's the other word?
Slapstick.
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 Come up with a word for that. I'll make it easy on you. These two are impossible. There is no word you can convert them to. It's a trick. These two words are impossible. So in the video, you're going to see she gives the class, half the class, bat, half the class, world. Raise your hand when you got the word deciphered. Immediately, half the class, arms go up. The other half of the class is looking around like, what the hell? What'd you find in there? Right? The second round, the one room has been given. What'd you say? Half the class was given lemon. The other half was given slapstick. Right away, the arms go up on half the class. The other half of the class, nothing. What did you find? We can't figure it out. The class thinks they all got the same word. You get it? Then she says, now we're going to do a harder one. She gives them that word. This half of the class gets it. This half of the class doesn't. Why?
Because they probably gave up.
They gave up. Exactly. In 3 words, less than 5 minutes, half the class learned helplessness. I give up. I can't do this. I give up. This is too hard. They were given the same last word, but different circumstances in the beginning. One half of the class learned how to succeed. The other half of the class learned how to fail. And they learned helplessness. Okay? Now let's watch the video. You'll see what I mean. Did I record? Did I push record?
Biggest fear for an adolescent is written all the way throughout this text. The biggest fear of an adolescent, Jesse?
Not fitting in.
Is not fitting in. You talked about acceptance. Now to understand how this happens and how this looks and what this feels like, I'm going to have you do an activity. This is an on-your-own activity, and just this is not to tax you. These are easy things. This is just to kind of get you feeling what we're going to go over. So everybody, if you would, take out a short piece of paper. I'm going to pass out these papers, and just keep them face down. And if you would, no one write on these, write on your own papers. Keep them face down. Yeah. Everybody have one? If you would, just do them one at a time, and I will tell you when to do them. Everybody turn it over. Just do your own work. And this isn't meant to be hard. These are anagrams. Just do the first one only. Go ahead and solve it. An anagram is rearrange the letters to form a word. Just one. Just rearrange those letters to form a word. When you're done, I need to see your hand raised. Okay, keep going. We'll wait. Keep your hands up, please. Just do number one. Don't go on. Don't go on. This isn't meant to be difficult. Okay, put your hands down. let's just go to number 2. Don't even worry about number 1. Go to number 2, solve that one. Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number 3. For number 3, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given 2 different lists. This side of the room was given these 3 words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given bat. What would the word be? The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word?
Melon.
Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first 2 words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time? Jory?
Felt stupid.
You felt stupid?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt rushed.
Felt rushed? Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You were even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness. How many have heard of the term before? Let me see your hands. Learned helplessness is often used in the academic literature to mean what? Jory?
Basically, they fail once or can't do something one time, and then they apply that to everything in the future, so all the future applications become skewed by that learned helplessness.
And here's the thing, and this is what I want everybody to understand. It's usually only used in the academic research. You'll see it in ed psych books. You'll see it in school textbooks when they talk about learning. But I'm going to challenge us to think about how learned helplessness can actually apply to the social scene. Can someone give me an example of how that might look? Tasha?
It's like when a guy asks a girl out and he gets turned down, he's not going to be willing to keep asking girls out, afraid of getting turned
And he
down.
stops trying. That's correct. Now I want us to think about girls. We've talked about reviving Ophelia here. I want us to think about how, as we have been going through this book, how does it apply? Think about friendships. Can you induce learned helplessness in friendships? Because it's tough to actually establish and maintain friends. That's a difficult process. Jesse?
If a girl sacrifices her morals once in order to gain like the approval of her friends or a guy, she's more likely to do it over and over.
Yes, and I'm just going to put this out there just to be explicit about it. If Carl becomes victimized one time in grade school, is he likely to stand up for himself the next time? No. And then what happens the next time and the next time and the next time? What we know that we have been learning about is girls have a cultural pressure to be quiet. Girls have a cultural pressure not to be angry, not to use their voices. And so if someone is victimized once, if Allison is victimized once, we can take that same concept of learned helplessness and apply it to social relationships. And so the moral of the story is it's very important for girls to practice and to be able to deal with that failure. Because our gut response, what do we do when we fail? Our gut response is to close down. And once you close down, you do not open yourself up for learning any new ways for relationships.
right, so what did you think of that video? Thoughts? You get it? What are your thoughts, though? Anything? Where else could you see that that applies in the real world? They talked about in the video how about if a guy asks a girl on a date, and she, huh? Give an example.
Like in a business, if you're in a business, like if you like start like your own restaurant, but then no one comes in for the first 2 days, you might start like giving up on the restaurant.
Yeah, that's a good one. So if you open up a business like a restaurant, Alex is saying, and you open up and nobody comes in, then you can start doubting yourself, figuring I made a big mistake, something is wrong, I'm not good at this, and you can learn helplessness and give up and never want to try again. Right?
Likewise in sports, like if you are making mistake after mistake, trying to be a good player, you could start like doubting your own capabilities. Keep making mistake after mistake.
Yeah, in sports too. If you in sports and you make a mistake, or you're not good in one game or two games, all of a sudden you can start doubting yourself, and then basically in your whole being just gives up, and you don't try anymore. Right? What do you think about since we're in Vegas here and you drive around and we go to stores and you see the guys on the corner of the street holding up a cardboard sign? Do you think they have given up on life? They have fully given up on life, 100%. Now, we're going to get into a lot more of this next week. This was a starter for this. I want you to think about this, because what we're going to talk about, one topic next week, is going to be a hard one. You guys will be okay with it, but it's a very hard topic to talk about. It's something that almost nobody talks about, and it's also probably something that most people don't even understand in colleges. You ever see the guys, most of the time, they're the black young men that walk around with the pants way down low, past their underpants? There is a reason behind that. It goes back to gang life, bad neighborhood life, not having a dad life, prison life, and it goes all the way back to slave life. It's a long history, and you could probably go to just about any black college in the United States, or any college in the United States, and ask them, where does that culture come from? And they'll be just like, oh, it's cool, it's part of hip hop, it's part of rap. That's not where it comes from. It comes from something much worse, much more horrible. It comes from a culture of learned helplessness. Okay? But the reason I want to breach this topic is because you need to know this kind of stuff. Because if you just accept the fact that it's part of rap culture, or it's part of this culture, or it's part of, why can't you ask a girl out on a date and she says yes? Oh, that's just the way girls are. If you just accept it, that means you never figure out what the problem is. If you never figure out what the problem is, you're never going to find the solution or the answer. Does that make sense? So, when you can understand, like with the dating one, why, if you asked a girl on a date, or if you asked someone to be your friend and they said no, why did they say no? Did they not like you? No. It's as simple as you didn't sell yourself well enough for them to accept the offer. I went through all this through college and high school and in life, until I figured out that I wasn't selling myself well, or I wasn't asking correctly. Does that make sense? I'll give you another example. I'm going to talk about this. One of your cousins, I'm not going to say who it is, wanted to go to the high school prom, and he had a best friend of his that was a girl who was his best friend in school, and he really wanted to go to the prom with her, but they were friends, right? So he asked the girl to go to the prom, but this is how he asked the girl. He went up to her and said, "Hey, I understand you don't have a date for the prom. You know what? I'm your friend. I can do you a big favor, and I'll take you to the prom. How about that? What do you think she said? Absolutely no. Kiss my ass. No. Why would I want to go with you? Not because she didn't like him. They were best friends. And from that day forward, they weren't friends anymore. Why? Why do you think, Ange? Did he ask her in a nice way? Yeah, exactly. I'll do you a favor. I'll give you a pity date. And I feel sorry for yourself. Not that he didn't say in his brain, in his heart, he liked her very much. And he wanted to go out with her. He wanted to make the friendship into a relationship. But he didn't express that correctly. He said, I'll do you a favor because you're so dorky that nobody asked you to the prom. I'll do you a favor and I feel sorry for you and I'll ask you. And of course she said no. But because he didn't ask correctly, that's just like getting slapstick. Decipher that. And you did it wrong and you failed. So that's the purpose. You never know how to correct a situation until you find out what the problem is. So unfortunately, we'll talk about that next week, but a lot of times you'll see people on the street, homeless people holding up a sign, and we've tried it too. When we had the business in Chicago, when we had to unload 100 semi-trucks with furniture, and we didn't have enough employees, we would go on the street to the guys begging, you want some money? Come up here and help us unload a truck. And a couple of them would come and help us unload a truck, and it wasn't that hard of work. After a half an hour, they would get mad and say, give me my money, I want to go home. It's only been a half an hour, it's an 8-hour day. No, I want my money, I want to go home. All they wanted was $10 for half an hour's work. We were paying 20 bucks an hour. They wanted to work a half hour, they wanted $10. Why? So they can go buy another bag of drugs to get through the day. They already gave up on life, 100%. You could offer them a job. We offered them a job. If they would have worked out well, they would have had a permanent job, 20 bucks an hour. They didn't want to. They've already given up on life, 100%. These people on the corner, when you give them $5 or a buck for whatever, for food or something, do you think they're going to go out and buy some new clothes, get a shower, and apply for a job? No, they've already given up. They've already learned helplessness. These guys who walk around with the pants down low, we'll talk about that next week, but they have already given up totally on society. It's a hard topic, and I don't want to end the week on a bad topic. We might do that Monday, so that by the end of the week you'll be happy. But that comes from a culture all the way back to slavery, and we're going to talk about that next week. Where does that come from? The pants down. Where does it come from? And I'll bet you even the guys that are wearing the pants like that, they don't even know. If they knew where it came from, they would snap out of it like that and would stop it immediately. They would snap out of this learned helplessness immediately and change their life, at least in some way. Okay? You have any questions?
No.
Do you get it though?
Yes.
This learned helplessness is very powerful. You can learn how to succeed and you can learn how to fail in a very short period of time, and it's based on your track record of successes and failures. Okay.